All right, welcome back, guys. This is our 4-part series. This is number 2, the 4 pillars of recruitment. Number 2 is going to be add value. Okay, so today we're going to talk a little bit about that and how we can add value, right? So when you're sharing on social media, you want to be known for adding value. Okay, you want to be known for, like, this means, that you're someone that when people come to your page, they're like, man, Jeremy is just really adding some value to my life, right? Like, if you follow my Instagram, like, I'm always posting about homeschool stuff, and I get a lot of people commenting and messaging me, right? So you need to be someone that is known for that. What are you adding? How are you adding value? It doesn't need to be what I do, but what are you doing? How are you adding value? So this means your posts are educating, entertaining, and encouraging, right? Not just one of the 3, not just educating, right? Not just encouraging, right? We just put up good quotes every day. No, it's educating, entertaining, or encouraging, right? All of it together. I think that all of those three of those together should be what we're cycling through, right? It doesn't have to be like every day it's like we switch, but those are the things we want to be focusing on, right? Do people know you? Do people know you sell gut health supplements, right? Do people actually know that? Yes, but people are still drawn to your page because you're adding value to their life, right? So people know I do plexus. People know I do gut health. I share some stuff about it. I share my stories a lot, but they still come to my page because I'm adding value, right? I'm adding value to them, right? So we want to make sure that we're doing that. You can do both, and you can do both well. When you authentically share your life, your passions, interests, what you're learning, and mix Plex into that, people will feel like they're getting to know you more, right? So I'm using myself as an example. It's just popping in my head. But when I will bump into people at the store or at the gym, they'll usually comment about my kids and their sports, or my wife and her job, or like the workout I'm doing, or if I'm doing weight loss. Like right now I'm losing weight, and so people like at the gym are like, oh yeah, what are you doing at the gym? And the other girl says, oh, he's taking the pink drink, right? Like, people know because I share what I'm doing, right? And so people want to get to know us, right? People want to see our face. They want to hear our voice. They want to see what's going on in our life, right? So as we're going through our stories, we want to make sure we're sharing that, okay? So what value do you add to people who come to your page? It's a question, right? What value do you add to people who come to your page? Think about that. Write some notes, okay? Why would someone look at your page? Right? Why? That's something for you to answer, right? Why would someone look at your page? Write down some notes, okay? So let's talk about those 3 things, right? Educate, right? Did you learn a new recipe, right? An ingredient you researched, life hack the way you shred your chicken, takeaway from a book or podcast. Did you learn something? Gut health impacts. Is there a travel tip? Is there a free date night idea, right? So those are some ideas, right, about educating, right? Share some things that you're learning, right? It's so when you start doing this, you're gonna realize, like, oh wow, I read a new book, so I'll go, hey, I'm reading this book, blah blah blah, right? I talk about it. Or we just got a car for Jermaine, I'm gonna share about it, right? Or when I learned that the pink drink is doing this for me, I'm gonna share that, right? But educating, right? Educating people on not just sharing your life, but educating them on certain things that you learned, right? Oh wow, I didn't know that. I don't know. I can't think of anything off the top of my head, right? But I've got a great travel tip when you do this, right? Or I just learned about gut health. I didn't know about this, and I'm sharing it with you. Great podcast or book. I always usually will share about food. I don't usually learn a lot of life hacks, but I'll share about books or podcasts, stuff like that. Next is, so that's educate, right? So educate people. Spend some time doing that, adding value, right? Entertain. Did your kids or pet do something funny, right? When they do, snap a video of it, picture of it, talk about it, or go on your stories and talk about it. Try a new restaurant, right? People like to go out to eat. So I like to know what's a good restaurant, okay? I don't go out to eat a lot, so I want to go to a good restaurant when I go out. Pinterest fail recipe you could share, right? Did you try to make something and you forget you put baking soda instead of baking powder, and you're like, never do that because your snickerdoodles will taste terrible. I know that because Carson did that, right? Or maybe he put like a tablespoon instead of a teaspoon, right? Like little things like that. Share it, right? Do something spontaneous, funny meme or quote. I like those. And your favorite hobby. Share your favorite hobby, right? I like to work out. That's one of my favorite hobbies. I like to go to the baseball field and pitch and hit to the boys. Favorite hobbies, right? Share yours, okay? We're all different. We're all unique, and people are following us for us. People don't follow you for me and me for you. It doesn't work like that, right? Okay, so on to the encouraging. So it could be an inspiring quote, Bible verse, song lyric you could share something about your life that you had to overcome, right? Maybe something that you always struggled with as a kid, and now you're an adult and you still struggle with it, but it's something you've had to work through, right? Share something you learned through a hard season, right? I learned a ton of things I could share about. Beginning of the year was rough for me. Rough time. So there's a lot that I can pull from there, okay? And I plan to share a lot of that as the year goes on. Reading a book or listening to a podcast. Again, right? This is encourage, right? So sharing, like, I like to share Bible verses, song lyrics. I like things that when things kind of pop in my head to share, I just share it. Or it's like, oh, I'm thinking about this. Like, I'll just share it because I figure if I'm thinking about it or concerned about it or worried about it, or is it something I learned new, I figure other people need to hear it or need to learn it. Okay, so that's kind of how I do things. Focus on spending more time creating than consuming, and inspiration will come, right? That's super important. When we're doing this isn't my phone, but imagine it is. And we're just doing this. Oh my gosh. Oh, who is that, right? We're spending so much time and time just flies by. So focus on spending time creating, more time creating than consuming, and inspiration will come. So what I notice is when I'm like, it's flowing, like I'm getting great ideas, I'll just start like writing stuff down in my notes. Like, here's an idea, or I'll start writing the post, or I'll grab a couple pictures. But when you feel like things are going good, like, just take advantage of that, okay? So here's a social media tip. Stay away from copying and pasting other Plexus posts word for word. The more you share in your own words and step into that, the more comfortable you'll get with it. Sharing on social media is a muscle that needs to be stretched. It's understandable if you're like, I need to post something today. I have no ideas. And you look at some friends that you have, or you look at your upline, or you look at mine or Jermaine's things, and you go, I'm going to snag that. Like a testimony, right? Like, that's something where it's like, okay, it's a testimony. We can share that. But put a little bit of something that's like, that's you in the beginning of it, right? Like I shared today about Tracy, and I was like, just saying how amazed I am with her and proud of her I am, and how it's so cool that we've never met, but we see each other on Zooms every week. But it's just like making it more personal, and then I share her testimony, right? So make sure you guys aren't just copying and pasting, right? God has given you a brain, right? He designed it, created it. It's how it is, and it's unique to you. And the way you say things, and the way you perceive things, and the way you, like, what you absorb from, like, we could listen to the same book and you can take out these lessons, I'll take out these lessons. I'm like, I didn't even know it said that. And you're like, well, I didn't know it said that, right? We're going to learn from each other. So when you're posting, share from your heart, share things that you notice. Okay. All right. And then an action item for today is going to be, take inventory of your social media presence today. What value are you adding? What are ways you can start adding more value to your audience? Those are good questions. Very good questions. If you need help, ask a friend. Say, hey, can you look at my page? Like, what is this? What does it say to you? Like, who am I talking to? It might be hard for you to see that. So maybe ask a friend, ask your upline, ask a sideline sister or brother or whoever. But take some time to, like, really take inventory of your social media presence. All right, guys, that's part 2. Okay, adding value of our 4-part series, 4 pillars of, why can I not remember this? 4 pillars of recruitment. See you guys.